Hello, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Yasir Tanveer, and by education, I'm an electrical engineer and an HSE professional. Recently, I have given a talk on the role of data in health and safety sector. The summit was organized by SGS Pakistan, in which various speakers related to the field of health and safety were invited, and they delivered their talks on respective topics. So in this video, I'm going to share what I talked about in that particular summit on the role of data in health and safety sector. So the topic of my presentation was unveiling the power of data and transforming health and safety in 21st century. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some glimpse and some key points of the presentation which I delivered in that particular summit. So this was my short, brief introduction. I'm an HSE professional and with an experience of around 12 years, associate safety professional from BCSP USA, and an NLP practitioner, which is related to some sort of psychology and human behaviors. And I'm also a master trainer of K-Electric. So data is everywhere. Have you ever wondered that how the meteorological department forecasts the weather? Actually, they takes various amount of data, which is also known as big data, and based on the historical data, they predict or forecast the weather. So they use data. Similarly, imagine for a moment that you have searched some sort of product or service online, and you start feeling that the same product or service that you have searched online keeps on appearing on your social media platforms. So basically, data is everywhere. So each time you swipe left or right on your mobile, some sort of data is being generated and is saved on the internet somewhere. Various organizations are leveraging this data to make informed decisions. So the question arises how we can leverage this data in health and safety field. So in the past, leading organizations have spent years implementing robust programs, stressing strong safety cultures, management accountability, monitoring of leading and lagging safety metrics, education, training, and communication. Yet, despite of this level of investment, many organizations have seen their safety performance plateau. And they continue to experience serious safety incidents or fatalities as well sometimes. So if you look at the success of different companies that uses this data to make informed decisions, and I'm very excited and very confident at the same time that we can also leverage this data to make some informed decisions on improving health and safety performances. Imagine for a moment that you can predict an accident. Like if you can predict an accident of a particular site or an activity, you can allocate your resources, your scarce resources to that particular site to prevent those accidents. So in this way, data is very helpful in if we can leverage this data and take some informed decisions to predict the accidents and allocate our dedicated resources to that particular site or that particular activity. So in this presentation, I'm going to give you a glimpse of how we can do that with a couple of case studies in HSE field as well. So basically, there are two types of analytics which we can use by using the data. One is called descriptive and the other one is called predictive analytics. So the basic purpose, the primary purpose of descriptive analysis is to summarize and present historical data to provide an understanding of past events. Basically, it helps you answer the questions like what happened in the past. Whereas predictive analysis aims to forecast the future trends or events based on historical data and patterns. Basically, it focuses on answering questions like what is likely to happen in the future. So basically, predictive analytics is very crucial and it can determine our success in predicting the accidents, the likely accidents in any particular site or of an activity. So this is a basic example of how predictive analytics works. If you look at the left side of the graph, you see a good correlation. But when you move right side on the graph, you see some bad correlation, some poor correlation. So the right side of the graph shows you that some sort of action is required to be taken in order to do something and to prevent accidents or to enhance your safety measures. So predictive analytics use this sort of correlation methods. So this one thing is to keep in mind that there are two different things. One is called causation and the other one is called correlation. Causation means the exact root cause, the exact cause which caused the accident, right? Whereas correlation shows you a prediction that there might be some sort of event that is connected to that particular accident. So there is a huge difference between causation and correlation. Causation is the exact outcome, whereas correlation is a forecast of that particular outcome. So if you look at one example, while studying the internet, I found this example very interesting, where a large international mining organization, which invested heavily in safety processes, systems, and structures, they were still experiencing an unacceptable level of severe incidents, injuries, and fatalities. So what did they do? They took 620 independent data points and matrices about employee incidents from a mine site. So you see, 620 independent data points, huge amount of data. So what were the findings? The analysis found that individuals involved in mine site safety incidents were significantly more likely to live on or near the job site. Another crucial significant contribution was the people who were highly tenured, like they have the experience of 20 or 25 years working on the same site. So these were the few significant findings that made that particular organization take some serious measures in order to prevent these accidents. The company was able to identify the significant contribution, the significant traits of a person who were involved in the accident. Due to these findings, they were able to take some serious actions to prevent those accidents. The second example is of Tata Steel, which is based in India. So as a first step, they took the data into a centralized data system, which is called as data integration. Then they use advanced machine learning models to perform advanced analytics in order to identify patterns and trends. Then they use real-time monitoring like sensors and IoT devices. The intervention was after identifying the crucial aspects of the accident sites and the persons involved in the accidents, they redesigned hazardous area and they rescheduled the maintenance of their equipment. So in this way, data was very helpful to this organization. The result was there was a substantial reduction in accidents and increased in operational productivity. So these were the two examples. Now, just I have told you earlier that the international mining organization took 620 independent data points. So how we can use these data points and from where these data points can come for us. So in this slide, I'm going to share with you some of the data points which you can take in your organization to predict the accident and to implement this data analytics particularly predictive analytics. So there are various data points like safety data, for example, incidents, audits reports, investigation reports, inspections details. But there are a few aspects of the data which we often forget, like HR data, the rosters of employee, HSE history of that particular employee, performance history, training skills of that particular employee. Similarly, context setting, like the context in which the incident occurred, the task which was varied, the site which was varied, and the equipment the employee was using during a incident. And there are also some external data points as well, like the demographics, time of the day, weather, etc. So this slide has shown you the various data points from which you can take your data and to feed into a machine learning model, so that this particular machine learning model can forecast or predict the accidents. So what organizations can do? There are a few steps. The first step is to set a clear objective, like what you are going to do with these data points and what are you expecting. The second step is to collect the data inventory. Like in the previous slide, I've mentioned various data points which you can take and feed into a centralized system. So this part is called data inventory. The third step is the data cleansing. So there are various outliers in a particular data set. So you need to clean that data in order to get a particular and refined result. The next step is the model selection. This is basically a mathematical model which is used in machine learning. And for this, I think you need a data scientist to apply that model or to develop in the first hand that model so that you can put the data into that particular model. The next is model training, so that you can identify if your model is working correctly. Then the deployment of that particular model. And the last step is continuous improvement based on the results that you get. So in this way, you can use data to perform predictive analytics using machine learning tools and to forecast or predict the accident so that proper resources can be allocated to that particular site or an activity. This is what I have presented in that particular SGS summit. I know this is a very short description of how organizations can leverage the data, but the purpose of this video is to just give you a glimpse of how we can use or leverage the data, inform decisions, and improve our health and safety performance in the 21st century. So if you have any questions or discussion or any clarification, you can ask in the comments. Till the next video, thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.